So, I'm a mom now.
I'm a mommy.
Mommy?
I'm a mom.
Mamacita.
Okay, so sorry. I feel like I need to be serious for this video. To cut to the chase, I'm a full-fledged mother now. Yep, I made a whole-ass human being, and I still can't wrap my head around that my body was able to do that. Without further ado, meet my son, Axel Gizmo. And I know what you're thinking. Gizmo? Well, you can ask his dad for choosing that name because I was also on the fence with that name choice. But now, I love the name Gizmo because it fits him so much. At the time of this recording, Gizmo is 17 months old and he is the happiest and most active toddler that I have ever had to take care of. He is being raised by me and my fiancé, George. I debated whether I should share this part of my life online because it's a vulnerable topic for me. I feel like I just couldn't go back to posting normally while hiding this huge part of myself. I mean, when I have a whole ass toddler pulling my hair and biting me while I make YouTube videos, it's kind of impossible to ignore him. For the most part of 2024, I was heavily pregnant. I was crying and vomiting almost every single day. I try to brush my teeth, vomit. I get into the car and feel a bit of motion sickness, vomit. I smell fish in the supermarket. I run as far away as I can and find the nearest bin to, you guessed it, vomit. I noticed that I couldn't handle strong flavors, so I had to resort to eating bland food like toast and oats. I remember spending $40 at a restaurant only to vomit it all out 30 minutes later. For some reason, McDonald's tasted really good, especially Coke Zero slushies. Fetus Gizmo really seemed to like McDonald's. The first trimester was a negative 8 out of 10 experience for me. I remember thinking, how could anyone go through this experience again, since waking up in the morning in those first couple of months was just super off-putting to me. A few weeks near my due date, my ultrasound technician told me that they suspected that my baby was breached, meaning Gizmo was positioned feet first rather than head down, which is something you want for your normal delivery. I was told to set up a C-section appointment if he didn't flip anytime soon. That was really worrying. There's nothing wrong with getting a C-section. It do be like that sometimes, but I'd be lying to you if I wasn't panicking at the thought of being sliced open. I was told that there was a slight chance he could still flip head down before my delivery date, so I did pelvic exercises for a bit. But I think what helped the most was bouncing all day on my yoga ball. I'd be bouncing while playing my games, watching TV, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in my dreams. You get the point. I really couldn't tell if he had flipped, so I had to still be open to getting cut open. But it turned out all good because my doctor and I watched him do a backflip on the screen. Then came delivery day. The contractions, man. Oh my god, the contractions leading up to the actual birth were the most painful. Oh my gosh. If I had to describe what contractions are to non-pregnant people, imagine watching these big waves from the distance growing closer and closer, and you know it's gonna hurt like hell when they crash into you. You try to outrun them, but you can't. You feel the water pulling your feet from underneath you. Then the next thing you know, the pain. The pain! Ah! As part of my birth plan, I requested the holy epidural, so I was having the time of my life until my epidural failed on me twice. The pain came back, but it wasn't too bad. Everything was still numb down there except for my right leg, so all of the pain was isolated on that leg. I felt like taking a dump at one point, so I asked the nurse if she could assist me to go to the toilet. Let me check real quick. Oh, yep. I gotta need you to push. Wait, what? So here I was, trying to convince a medical professional that it wasn't the baby and that I just really needed to poop. But the nurse said, "Nuh-uh, it's not poop. I can see his head." That was how numb it was down there. Overall, it was a positive birth experience for me. I'm grateful that everything went smoothly and that he arrived healthy. When I held him in my arms, I thought that I would have that moment where I would sob uncontrollably seeing my baby for the first time, but I didn't. And that feeling worried me so much because I thought that a part of me lacked maternal instinct, which is a bit of a taboo topic for new mothers. I assumed this new identity as a mother, which didn't feel like it suited me at the time. I mean, yeah, I pushed a baby out of my hoo-ha, and that automatically makes me a mom now? What makes someone a mother? That title holds so much weight, so much meaning, and so much gravity to me. It felt like I hadn't earned it. Not only that, I was grieving for the life where it was just me. As selfish as it sounds. Don't get me wrong, I love Gizmo to bits, but at the time, it was super confusing to navigate all of this. I feel like a lot of new mothers go through some kind of identity crisis in the first year or so. And if you are a new mom who is going through that, I see you, and I hope that you reach out to friends, family, and even a medical professional to lighten your load. You're not a terrible mom for wanting to take a break or giving yourself a few hours to be on your own so you could feel a semblance of your old self. Being a mom or a solo parent is a 24/7 job that you can't clock out, and I think we all underappreciate that job as a society. So, to every mom and solo parent out there, you're killing it. If Bubba is fed, clean, and healthy, you go relax and get that sweet treat. He loves to eat soups and rice, although sometimes he can be very picky with certain foods. He loves to swim and play with toy cars. He also loves to draw, and there were many times where we would draw together and he would scribble on my drawing and mess it up, bruh. He's also very smart. He's only 17 months old, but the other day I saw him throw his sippy cup in the dishwasher and close it. Gizmo is also an extrovert and, dare I say, a yapper. Watching him grow up happy and healthy every day definitely feels rewarding. I still have that imposter syndrome as a mom sometimes, but not as much as before. All in all, I just want to be a good mom to Gizmo. Not perfect, because I know that I'm gonna make a lot of parenting mistakes, but I want to be someone who he can depend on and guide him through life. I love you, son. Oh my gosh. Isn't it crazy that I have a son? Yeah, he's very cute.